These are some poems I've written I'd like to read where their theme is mortality. This first one is called Reflections on Death in a Meadow. As I walk through the meadow, I notice the milkweed has finally split its pod. The silky white tendrils spill out into a brilliant November morning. Now the wind will carry the small burden over the grasses and beyond the high reeds. I think about a friend who passed but a few days ago. He passed on Halloween. Perfect timing, he would say. And me, well, I was at a party having a good time and didn't know. I couldn't raise a toast to absent friends. He was a mover and a shaker in town, and we shared some of that together. My neighbor says he saw snowflakes this morning. Too warm to stick, I said. I wanted to tell him about the milkweed dissolving into the meadow winds, like a soul finding its way into the ether. But I didn't say that. A small, fine yellow butterfly, the last of the season perhaps, skitters along on a quick breeze and is carried across the pond's rippling slate-colored waters. It is soon blown out of sight. Yes, my friend won't be moving and shaking now, I suppose, though who knows. I narrowly missed stepping onto some woolly caterpillars as they crossed my narrow footpath. From tall grasses that edge one side of the hard-packed soil, they crawl into more tall grasses on the other side. I don't know where they're going, but they seem to be in a hurry. I'd like to ask about the journey if I could. I'll bet they know the score. And if hurrying is what it takes, they will just hustle their little orange and black designer-colored asses right along. The wake for my friend is tomorrow. As I finish my walk in the meadow, I think maybe I have a cold coming on. The meadow's metamorphosis is inexorable and very nicely dressed, I'd allow. You can't beat the reds and yellows of autumn to hold your awareness. He had a good life as far as I know, but we only saw each other sporadically in his last years. A mere 25 miles can do that, you know. Still, there can be no regrets in this meadow filled with life today. This is called He Was a Friend. He was a friend, a great friend of many years, and then through happenstance, I found that he had cheated me badly, and he was not contrite, and so of necessity I disowned him. Too bad, he made me laugh. Many years have passed since we last spoke. Tonight, over a plate of spaghetti, I learned of his son's death. My wife asked, what should we do? Ah, death, that great leveler. All recriminations are lost next to death. Good counsel will always be superfluous next to death. Circumstances will never be right next to death. And the time will never be more opportune next to death. We'll send a card, I said, a small gesture to be sure, when you want to acknowledge something next to death. This is called Is Harry on the Other Side? I once helped put a study together for an insurance company. I did things like that once. We wanted to better understand suicide, as insurance companies are wont to do. During the study, a guy sailed by my office window from 34 floors up. Men are always more dramatic than the ladies. They do themselves in with gusto. And I've always thought of suicide, hasn't everyone? Not because of psychic pain or moral dilemma, but because I am anxious. I just really like to know what is on the other side of life, that is. I'm not taking anyone's word that they know. Faith is for martyrs and other miscreants. If Harry Houdini couldn't get word back, and answer the really big questions. What chance does a non-magician have? It's annoying, but there's nothing for it. I must patiently wait my turn. This is called Jack John's Final Encounter. Old Jack John had a long, soulful life, 13 children and a very pretty wife. Rocking on the porch, playing his guitar, picking and a singing when he saw that long black car. 'Twas a Cadillac hearse, he could plainly see. The driver was a shadow where a man now he ought to be. Coming for his soul, gonna take Jack John for a ride. Jack bolted the door, looking for a place to hide. Won't someone please sit with me? I hear him knocking on my front door. I guess I'll have to let him in now, but I'm not ready to go. Jack said, Mr. D, you look a little blue. Could this death dealing be getting to you? If you give me one more year, I'll write you a tune to soothe your troubled soul, and none too soon. Now Mr. D had eyes like burning coals. He said, Jack, I know your reputation among my many souls. It's a bargain, and I'll be back this time next year, so write your very best or you'll no fear. So old Jack John had time to say goodbye. They say the song he wrote would make the angels cry. I hear it sometimes at night when I'm near his grave, but you can't recall a tune for a spirit made. No, you can't recall the tune for a spirit made. This is called Murder at a Red Light. Take a deep breath, keep taking them. It's all you can do sometimes. Life can be like a cold case. His murder was up on a billboard at the stoplight on Hempstead Street. $50,000 in reward money for the murderers of Eugene, a physicist, smart guy, working on cold fusion for all of us. What were his killers working on? They strangled him, and in his own house, for God's sake. The light turns green, horns blow behind me. I am stuck in Eugene's horror. Those behind me didn't know him. They don't understand my immobility. I have to go. This is called The Tornado. No one summoned the tornado, but it came anyway. They sound like a freight train. The noise is unmistakable if you've ever been in one. The sky was black tinged with green, a Wizard of Oz look-alike sky if you've ever been in one. They prayed to God, please let it pass and leave the family unscathed. The father held the thin arm of his son against the calliope of wind filling the home. Again he prayed, give me the strength to hold him fast while invisible torrents rent the walls. The wind bore him no mind and tore the boy from his grasp. He prayed to God again that he might find him safe. And when he did find the infant, not even bruised, but quite dead in a field, he offered a prayer of thanks, for certainly he was part of God's salvation now. The father didn't ask who sent the tornado. Tornadoes sure are good for the religion business. Thank you. That's all for now.